Have you ever had to stay true to your truth, even when no one else joined you or when no one else was watching? Welcome to the Black Madonna Codes, a weekly conversation for women leaders who know the sacred feminine cannot be contained, sanitized, or erased.
Through honest conversation about how the Magdalene principles are woven through history, race, spirituality, and current lived experience, we are widening the story and honoring the many cultures that have carried this wisdom.
We're inviting you to open your heart with us as we explore the Magdalene path with curiosity, humility, and reverence for the lineages we carry. Hey, Deidre.
Hey.
I have. Have you?
You have what? Yes. What? Yes. Are you kidding me right now? Yes. 100%. It's not the easy path. It's not the easy path. I'm going to tell my story, and you tell your story.
Do it.
I was 19. No, I was 20. And I was pregnant. And I had decided I was having the baby, and I was not getting married. And my family was not happy at all.
Wow.
And that was the first time probably in my adult life. That's a very young adult, right? 20. First time in my adult life where I trusted my knowing. And my daughter is now 34, and she is the best. She's just the best. It's one of the best choices I've ever made.
Oh.
And yes. And so, and it was hard. It was hard. People called me, family members called me, you're ruining your life. What about college? Are you going to finish? All of the things, pressure. There was pressure to conform, pressure to do the quote unquote right thing. And I did not. And I had friends who were like, they were my age, but they were all like, if you want to do it, you can do it. There was one adult who was my very good friend from college. His mother was like, if you want to do it, you can do it. And those words were enough to have me, to give me the strength to stand in what I believed in and what I felt was right for me. Also, my daughter is the light of everyone's life. Also, all those people who advised me otherwise. Yes, her arrival was just the best thing since sliced bread. So there's that.
Wow. Oh, I have a similar story that I was that voice to a family member to keeping the baby. So I know like that, like tension and everything firsthand.
Mm-hmm. Because in a lot of families, not in all families, but in a lot of families, there's an expectation of you got to get your education, right? Especially in a Black family with parents of a certain age. My parents are from the South. They grew up in a time where education was the key to getting out of poverty. It was the key. If you didn't get educated, you couldn't get a good job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to go into the rest of the politics about that. But because there's what happened then in the 80s was like a reversal of that. And we're now dealing with the impact of that. But that's a whole other story. And so they passed that on to me. Like, you got to get your education. And it's not that I wasn't going to get I guess the way, so this is also a testament to you don't live in your children's world.
Yeah.
Right. So I grew up with computers. My parents didn't grow up with computers. My father was surprised one day when I said, I never rode in the back of the bus. He was like, you didn't? I said, no. But my brother, who's 9 years older than me, he rode the back of the bus, but I didn't.
Wow.
Right. And so the world changes like these, that wasn't a small thing, but these steps in a direction. And so your children end up growing up in a different world. They live a different life. They have different opportunities. They see the world differently. And so they're advising me, as most parents do, based on their experience, which doesn't always apply exactly on. And I'm not by any stretch of the imagination saying education is not important. Education is absolutely important. But even the way we do education now has evolved, right? You have Google and all these tech companies offering to train young people. Just come to learn our platform and we'll hire you. That's education, but it's not go to college for 4 years and
Right.
traditional, this old school way. So there's flavors to it. And that's an evolution, right? That's an evolution in the world.
Yeah.
And that's what companies do when education doesn't keep up with technological developments. It's not the first time. I read recently that Westinghouse and General Electric were training electricians because the education system hadn't caught up with technology and they needed electricians.
Right.
So yes, this is how we got here. So I understand. I'm grateful for my parents, grateful for everything they've done for me. They have been wonderful. I would not have it any other way. And I am grateful that I was able to go my own way. And then layer on top of that, I have my babies at home. My father was like, I don't understand why you don't want to go to the hospital. What's wrong with you? How? Because in his mind, when he was little, the moms had babies at home. And that was like, once you could go to the hospital, that was like posh. That was like,
right,
the next level. And he's like, you want to go back to that? And I was just like, yes. Yes, I do. Watch me. Oh, my beer.
Right. Oh my goodness. Well, I felt like it was radical when I had my home births, and you're talking a little bit before that. So I feel like that was extra radical.
That was extra radical. It was extra radical. People were like, you're going to do what? Yes, I'm having a midwife. I'm not going. I had done research, as I am known to do. And it was like, the United States has the highest incidence of cesarean section in the Western world. I was like, dude, you're not cutting me. You're not cutting me. I'm going to the midwife. So,
yep.
Like you want to go play golf, so you're going to give me a C-section? I don't think so. So
I think about the various different ways that I have also had to stand alone. And I think about that parental support piece and wanting to be the kind of parent that says, what does your gut say? And it makes me emotional because I crave that, and I give that now to myself, because very rarely has anyone in my world said those.
Empowered you. That's empowering, though.
Exactly.
It's empowering to be like, well, feel it. You to acknowledge that you already know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Especially when people are invested. I have coaches, it's like, oh, I'm paying them to say that to me. But people who feel like, oh, but your experiences might affect or break my heart, or, you might suffer. That means I'm going to suffer. It's like, it's too risky to say, what does your gut say? Trust your gut. You got this. I believe in you.
Yep. That's a whole thing. It's a thing. And I wonder if boys, and if there are any guys who are watching, feel free to comment, because I'm curious if boys are socialized the same way. Are boys socialized to trust their gut? But girls are kind of told, you need to be cared for, you need to be taken care of. And sometimes being taken care of, that care can become a cage. You lose your autonomy, where you lose your agency, where you lose your connection to that voice inside yourself that's giving you some direction.
Well, and you add gender to this. I mean, you add another layer of what people experience who are trans individuals. And it's like, this is the whole wound that needs repairing, is never being asked, like, what do you want? And never being, supported in, like, this is what's emerging from my heart. And, so yeah.
Right. And recognizing some people need support, learning how to tune into that. Because there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of money invested in keeping you disconnected from that, because that makes you more vulnerable to these outside influences that don't always have your best interests at heart. And so, yes, that is totally a skill that can be developed. Whether some people come here hardwired, they're already tuned in and they already have it. And some people are not so hardwired and they need practice and they need support and they need some training wheels a little bit to get their confidence up, to trust the voice. They hear the voice, but they don't trust it. They don't believe that. That doesn't sound right. I can't do that. That's going to lead down a dark path. So that's the whole thing.
And I think that, so then this has become relevant. Deidre and I have been talking a lot about authority and about being, when you feel like, the first thing that is always very present to me because of my recent experiences is that a lot of people who say, I know, and I know what you should do, and therefore I know what's right for you, have been, it's been traumatic for me. It's been traumatizing. And I think many of us relate to that. So for me, there's been lots of standing alone times, but one of the bigger times was leaving the Mormon church. It's sort of ironic because joining the Mormon church felt the exact same. It was rooted in the same exact principle. I was like, I'm leaving the wisdom of my family and many, many members of my community, and I'm joining this thing because I feel like it's what's best for me. And then same thing when I chose to leave. I'm leaving my community and many members of the family that would not agree with this decision, and I'm doing what feels right for me and for my family.
And it's hard. It's hard to stand against your community, the people that love you, right? It's hard. That's a hard thing.
Yeah, and because there's irreparable bridges. I don't believe anything is fully irreparable. Like I'm willing, I'm here, but it takes a lot to repair bridges, and a lot of bridges end up being just disintegrated. And in that, because it's like I never left love for these people. I just left the principles that united us. And so therefore there's very little principles that unite us anymore. And it's hard. But in that trauma, in the wake of that trauma, I have been through an experience of, how do I be with what I know? And how do I be with my own authority? How do I guide my children in that? How do I guide my clients in that? When is it the time to say, here's what I see? And when is it the time to say, what does your gut say? I totally trust you.
But you and I just had that conversation. We just had that conversation in our planning sessions about the retreat that's coming up, right? We were having a conversation and I was saying, okay, this is my perspective. And you're totally free to discard. Like, I'm not going to feel away if you don't understand, you find my perspective isn't valid for you, or it doesn't fit with what you're trying to do. And I said, whatever you decide, I'm riding with you. So we're just it'll be fine. But just, this is what I see. And if it's valuable, take it. And if it's not valuable, don't take it. But that's, a lot of people don't do that. They don't have capacity for that.
Yeah.
If they tell you,
you say that, you got to mean it. I know a lot of people can't, it's like, oh, maybe I can actually say the words, but can I mean the words when the ride takes us into
a turn? Right. It requires the capacity to be with the unknown. Can you be okay with the unknown? Can you be okay with uncertainty? Right. Because I'm good. I'm clear about my way, my perspective. I understand that and I know how that goes. And I'm pretty sure about how, what the steps are and how it'll turn out. But then if you're taking me on a ride in another direction, that could make the other person uncomfortable. Now they're not in their comfort zone. Now they have to be with uncertainty. Excuse me. And that's a lot of tension to hold for some people.
Yeah.
So,
It is.
and
It's a
why
lot.
are we talking about this? I feel like we have to bring it back to Mary Magdalene. Like we're talking, it's in the description actually.
Yeah, it is.
If anyone bothered to read, it's in the description. But we're talking today about how she was like a majority of one. She stood on her principles, even when it was inconvenient, even when it was uncomfortable, even when she had to hold the tension of that, right?
Yeah.
Like she was the first person to see Jesus. Did they believe her?
Right.
When she went to them and said, I saw him.
Yep.
Right. And how often have women said, I see this, and they get dismissed?
As a mother, even, holy moly. I mean, that is like
Yep.
the code.
Exactly. And then you just sit, wait and wait. You're like, okay, I can wait.
Yep. Yep.
And then it unfolds as you described.
Mm-hmm. I think too about her staying at the cross. Like Peter denied Christ for a reason. It was dangerous to claim that you were close to him. And Mary didn't leave his side, physically didn't leave his side.
Right. So can we talk about how sometimes being a woman, and I don't know that this applies to that time and the values of the culture that they were in, but how sometimes being a woman, the invisibility of being a woman, because they don't think you're a factor. You're not a threat. You're not, you're being ignored, that gives you access, that people will say things in front of you because they don't think you're listening or they don't think you really understand. And so it works both ways.
Yeah.
It can.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another one of so this, if we're going to define this, the Black Madonna Code is willingness to stand alone in devotion to what you know. And another Black Madonna Code that we have identified is this capacity for, we decided we're calling it weaponized invisibility. It's that invisibility that you actually find power in. My daughter was talking about it yesterday. She's 16 and she works in customer support, public, very, very public thing. And she's freaking adorable. Like, I want to put her in a box and not let her out. You're too cute. Like, the world is a scary place. And she was talking about that. And she said, when I swallow a little bit of this, try to pretend like just it didn't happen, I get more tips and the whole stand benefits when I tolerate men's basically sexual harassment type
bad behavior, aggression.
Yep.
Inappropriateness.
Particularly like flirting with her, no matter what their age is. She is very obviously underage. Like she has been in this job for over a year and she has expressed this more than once. But she's like, well, I know if I behave this way and I have these systems around me to keep me safe, then she's like, this makes most sense to me. Like, nobody's going to get upset. I know who I can report to if they cross a line, and I'm going to get paid more, and everyone's going to benefit from it. And it's like, we don't love this, but also she is gaining access to privilege because she's choosing to stay quiet instead of, for me, man, she was telling me a story yesterday and I was like, I am coming down there and I am murdering that fellow. And that was one where she was like, yeah, I'm gonna report the one guy in particular who's coming around all the time. But it's interesting.
It's also like you got to know when to use it.
Yeah,
like it matters. The time matters. When do you need to just kind of go along and let them think that what they're doing is okay, not make a fuss, not make a big stink about it? And when do you need to draw a hard line?
Yeah.
And I don't want anyone to conflate this with the emerging conversation that men are having about checking other men. Right? Like,
I don't know.
There's an emerging conversation right now about men need to, women aren't always in a position to check a man about his bad behavior.
That's it.
But
Yeah.
right. So if almost every woman you know has endured some level of sexual harassment, sexual assault, definitely inappropriate behavior, if not the other extreme, right?
Yeah.
But you say, well, I'm not that guy. And so you think that you get to just throw your hands up like, I'm good. I'm not that guy. I'm out of it. But somebody in your friend group is doing that. And
Right.
you see it and you don't say something. And that's a conversation that's now beginning to happen with men, that there is a growing mass momentum of men who are taking that up, of just even paying attention, just even saying, dude, that's not cool. That's not cool. Don't do that to her, or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
Just it being acknowledged, because men mostly perform for other men.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so having these distinctions, that these things are coming out, I don't want anyone to mistake what we're saying about women who are sort of playing this game, because sometimes it keeps you safe too, right? I grew up in New York City. I walked down the street. I developed very early. And so I have endured men talking to me on the street for decades now. And there's a way to handle it, because if you say the wrong thing, you could piss them off and you could put yourself in danger. So there's that line. And the other line is, you don't want it making them think that they have an invitation.
Yeah.
Like that this is okay. Like, I'm not interested, but you have to do it in a way, you have to, you have to tiptoe a little bit and say, okay, where does it go? You can't just give them the finger. They might just snatch you up. They might punch you in the face. They might. I had a dude, I declined his advances. He started throwing coins at me. Oh, I was walking down the street. He just started throwing coins at me. That's what it's worth. That's what he was saying. That's what he was saying. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Right. And maybe I was 15 at the time.
Oh, that's a tender age.
It is. It's life in the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but you learn some skills.
Yeah. And I think it's a conversation of privilege, right? Like, and so if you are the one in the greater position of privilege, it is very important that you understand your privilege, that you own it and recognize it. And then that gives you more awareness to have greater stewardship and responsibility with the privilege that you have. And
compassion for others who don't have it.
Yes. And this is and on the other side, this weaponized invisibility is a conversation of someone who is in a lesser position of privilege. And that's where Black Madonna, to me, and Mary Magdalene really weave into this conversation. Like, if you look at just even how their legacy and power and like the magic has endured despite all of the oppression over all of these thousands of years.
Because the truth endures.
Yeah.
And everything else dies off.
Yeah. Yeah. Even this, it's so sneaky. When I first heard about Black Madonna and what it was, like what it really represented, I was like, no, this is a wild goose chase. This is conspiracy theory. Like, I have to know more. No way. Because it's just too good,
Yeah.
And that's what we do as women. We find that thing and it's, it's not an ideal scenario. No one is championing the system as it exists, but figuring out how to maintain your power as much as possible inside of oppression is relevant.
It is necessary. Sometimes for your very survival.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel too, if we tie this back to women in leadership, it's like, I think for me, when I first started having these conversations and understanding the systems and understanding my privilege, areas of my privilege and areas of my lack of privilege, it changed how I lead. It changed how I run my business. It changed sales. It changed everything about how I was interacting with other people, because I started to recognize power dynamics that I was ignorant and blind to before. And I think that's why these conversations matter so much.
I agree. All right. It's almost time.
Yes.
I want to very quickly talk about the theory of knowledge, which talks about the 8 ways of knowing. So in our society and in our culture here in the US, reason and logic is promoted as the be all end all way of knowing something. If it's not logical, if you don't have evidence, if it's not scientifically proven, if you didn't do a double blind study, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So there's that. Other ways of knowing: sense perception, emotion, faith, intuition, imagination, memory, language. Those are the other ways of knowing in addition to reason. So I wanted to just acknowledge that, since we're talking about standing in your knowing, and where does that knowing come from?
I really love that.
Yep. That's good stuff.
Someone said, it was Sasha Ostara on our most recent Magdalene interview. She said, someone told her this years ago and she's held on to it. And I'm like, oh, that's going to stick. That of the 5 things that you believe, any given 5 things you believe, one of them's probably wrong.
Yeah.
Holding that, we didn't put that on the planet. And definitely. I think that's really what it looks like to be a Magdalene integrated or Black Madonna integrated leader, is like, and I'm still learning this, right? Like times when I can show up very much in my authority, and times when I'm like struggling to really hold what I know, and also hold humility in a way that is so different than I have embodied my whole entire life. It was all or nothing. I either know everything or I know nothing.
Right. Yes, on the extremes.
Yeah. There's another way.
It's hard to grow there at the extreme.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Either one. Yeah. Well, thanks for this conversation, Deidre. And thanks again to those of you who are tuning in, whether you're watching live or on the replay. We appreciate you. We have some yummy, wonderful things up our sleeve. Keep eyes peeled for, if you've heard of Magdalene Feast Day, we've got an event coming up there. We'll be able to share more details soon. And certainly the pilgrimage with us to the south of France. So we'd love for, if you're enjoying these conversations and you want to be in the room and be a contributor and add your thoughts and grow in these leadership capacities in this way, we want to do that with you in the sacred land of the south of France.
We do indeed.
Okay, see you next time.
Right. Bye.